Hello YouTube. Now I want to make a message to some people. I've talked about many controversial things, MMA and life period. I've talked about them and I've pretty much gone against what the 90% majority of people have said. So now I'm going to talk about what the title says as a subject. People that upload MMA fights to YouTube. Now, the people that troll these videos say, "Oh my god, you sucks. I could beat these guys, blah blah blah, I would kick both your asses." Two things to you. One, you're a UFC wannabe more than they are. Piss off. Number two, yeah, my lunch is here, but number two, you can't tell how hard someone hits simply by watching them hit someone else. So, I want to say something. If you guys are trolling on those videos, then you're an idiot. It doesn't matter how inexperienced they are. Look, they're not in the UFC. They don't have a big cage. They don't have 10,000 people live watching them. That means, well, first off, the guys that troll these videos expect to go in and see freaking Chuck Liddell fighting. No, that's not. Let me tell you something. In reality, mixed martial arts fights aren't UFC fight or aren't like UFC fights. UFC fights are normally either exciting, they end fast, except for a select few that aren't exciting. But the point being is that mixed martial arts fights, aside from the UFC and Pride, all the big name organizations, that's what they are. That's basically like, let me think of a good example. Okay. That's like, I'm trying to think of a really good example, but that's like saying that I couldn't get into I hadn't applied or whatever, but I'm not in the NFL, so I'm gonna be like in arena football or whatever, which is only a step down, but anyway, and they think that they're gonna see what the NFL does. No, that's not the way it works. In MMA fights, aside from the couple of big leagues, UFC, Pride, Strikeforce, it's not like that. People don't go out there and slug each other for 5 minute rounds. They don't do that. That's not how it works. The guys that think that it do are the guys that troll on the videos. And it's idiotic. Because if a teen MMA fight is supposed to be a UFC fight, then we'd have a lot of dead teens. Because the UFC guys, it's scientifically proven that their body has adjusted to taking huge hits. Look at Chuck Liddell. His left hook delivers over 1,000 pounds of force. That's equal to getting hit in the face with a sledgehammer. And he throws 4 of them consecutively. That's a total of 400 pounds of force that just hit you. Now, are you telling me that a teen that's been even training for like 10 years like me, I know I probably wouldn't live through getting hit in the face by a sledgehammer or Chuck Liddell. Why? Because my body hadn't fully matured yet. And on top of that, these guys just, Rich Franklin, Anderson Silva, all the big names in the UFC, they can go out there and do it like that because they earned their way into the UFC. They started out doing what these guys do. Or not really, but they worked their way up. They gained experience. Now, first off, there's nothing wrong with posting experiences you've had. Number two, if these are, like, my first fight, I look ridiculous. I don't anymore. The reason is that the guys that get into the UFC are built up by the experiences that they have. And if it's your first couple MMA fights on YouTube, you aren't going to look that good. Now, if you have, like, 30 of them, like friggin' GSP or something, then yeah, GSP is boring. Let's give another example. He's still a beast, but he's kind of boring. Matt Hughes. He's had like 50 fights. And the reason that everyone sees him as such a badass is because he worked his way up. Just like everyone. He started out fighting no names. Guys that probably would have gotten fired from leagues that went out of business. Why? Because that's how you work your way up. You don't instantly get to fight the champion. Well, except him for Brock Lesnar, but he was in WWE for 3 years and he had people that also knew who he was. I gotta go eat lunch now, but point being, it's idiotic to hate on those videos that you're a UFC wannabe, MMA wannabe, because that's how MMA fights work before you're in the big leagues. Someone takes a couple hits and they fall down, or they may even go to war, but they're not gonna look technical. Why? Because one, they don't have the resources to scout everyone out and everything, and two, that's their experience. It's their first experience. So, I want to leave this on a good note. McDonald's? No. Okay, seriously, I'm gonna go now.